Hello, blog readers. This is the den of experimentation right here. What I'm going to show you today is kind of like tech tip number 3. You will not believe how many people who float rig fish don't know how to make the simple stopper knot in which your float bumps up into. It's real simple. Here's a float rig rod. Here's a stopper knot. Here's the float, goes up and hits the stopper knot. This one's made out of mono, 20-pound mono, riding on about 30-pound braided line. Then, I keep hitting the lamp up here. Then, let's say you got this one. This is the little yarn one. Okay, slides up and down on your line. Okay, and your float goes up and hits it. That's how you set your depth, right? So many people don't know how to make this knot. And if they don't have these when they buy their float, then they're pretty much SOL, I guess. An old way of doing it too is to use rubber bands. I know somebody uses rubber bands. I can't use rubber bands because I just don't see how they work very well. You know, when you're adjusting your depth all the time, you're sliding this knot, which this is a big old bundled up knot right here. You're sliding it up and down all the time. And braid, of course, eats right through a rubber band. All right, we're back. And I'm setting up this demonstration here of how to tie this knot for you. And hopefully you're going to be able to see it. Okay, so what we got here is we're going to pretend from this to this is your fishing line. We'll call, this is where your float's going to be. This is the tip of your rod. Remember, always have that bead on top of your float. You're going to be putting, it's going to be stopper knot, bead, float. Okay? Here's a material that is made by Dubro. It's 50 yards of high visibility slip bobber knot material. Guess what? Who cares? You can do the same thing out of 20-pound mono. Okay? Here is sort of what one would look like when you get it in the package. Okay, and what you would do is you'd run this over your line and you would push the knot off and then pull the 2 tag ends to tighten it up. There's new ones out there now that have a slot built into the little plastic tube for the sheer fact that people consistently, and I've done it by mistake too, when they're rigging up a float, they rig up the whole float and they forget their stopper knot. So the one that has a slot in it can just go onto the line. I don't know why it took these people so long to make these. It goes onto the line, you slide it off, and you use the slot to take the little plastic tube off. If all this sounds confusing, guess what? It shouldn't be. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm taking way too heavy of mono here. Okay, hold on a sec. I've been taking way too heavy of mono to do all this. But this is this red Cajun 40. Here's basically, if you're taking a mono or even this stuff, you're taking mono and this is your line, this is your float, then you got a bead and you're going to put your stopper knot on. What you do is you take it and you make a loop. Okay, see that? All I'm doing is I'm making a loop and I'm holding it against my main line. Okay. I'm going to take a tag end and I'm going to put it around the main line through the loop. Okay. Around the main line, through the loop, through the loop, through the loop. And I mean, you're doing this with 20-pound maybe mono or this stuff. And then all you're going to do is tighten it up. Okay. This is hard doing it with this. And all that is going to do is then slide up and down your line.